Welcome back to another episode of I Never Liked You with Matteo Lane and Nick Smith, and today we're talking opera. This isn't exactly opera, but
Close enough.
It's close enough, yeah. Schubert, you know. You can do it, Nick. You got it. What is this? Did you wear this shirt already? This shirt looks like you're like a evil doll in a movie.
Handmaid's Tale almost. So opera.
Yes.
We both studied opera. One of
What?
us more so than the other.
Yes, well, one still often sings with famous opera singers at Carnegie Hall.
Okay.
Miss Thing.
Just because you're singing when no one asks you to doesn't mean you're singing.
I still sang.
Well, I'm singing at our show. Mm-hmm. Surprise. Oh, this will air after, though.
Fine. Yes. So if you've joined our Patreon, you can see Nick and I singing the flower duet from Lakme.
Correct.
Which I'm kind of, if this is being filmed before that, I've seen you sing opera. So Nick and I both sang opera. Nick obviously studied opera in college and got his master's in opera, right? Mm-hmm. And then decided to sell houses.
Then that's when I became friends with all of you. So none of you have ever seen or heard me sing other than that like random YouTube clip from when I was 19.
And what aria are you singing?
From Bohème, I think.
And Nick is just because you're a bass. So it's just so funny to hear Nick go from like, hello, my name is Nick Smith to no.
But it's also, I was 19 in that clip. So like I wasn't even that good. I was fine.
You were great.
I mean, it was good, but it was like, I don't know. It's just weird to think that so much of my life was opera, and then you guys are so much of my life, but you've literally never seen or heard me perform. So it'll be interesting when you hear me during the duet.
I'm curious about you and your singing because you don't sing ever. If you do, you sing like it's not like you say you have no falsetto and then you have no recollection, 6 years of studying, and you have zero recollection of learning how to breathe.
I mean, I did.
No, that's the whole point of opera is breathing.
But what I'm saying is like, yes, I learned to breathe, but not in the context of like what you were saying. Like you were breathing through a straw and all these things.
Working
but like,
through your diaphragm.
But that's not what my teacher did. We did different breathing exercises, but also we didn't spend every lesson on breathing.
No, I know, but I'm just it's muddled your training because I'm trying to figure out like, did you learn little operettas? Did you learn like embellishments? Like what
I mean, yeah, but you have to think about it. For 6 years, every week, sometimes multiple times a week, I had a lesson. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of lessons. So I just don't remember.
What are some things you learned in your lessons about opera, about your voice, placement of your voice, and things that you learned to better your voice?
So I went to Manhattan School of Music, and it was an experience. Look, I don't regret going. I may regret the bills that I still have from it, but I don't regret going because I can't see myself having gone to like a real university and majored in like marketing
finance
or communications or whatever.
Right.
But it definitely was a very specific college experience.
I also had a very specific college experience between
so like anytime people talk about like frats and sororities and like fun on the quad and playing things
Frisbee?
on the quad.
You're
like
so gay.
I went to school in New York at a conservatory. So like we just didn't have the same experience.
Nick,
as
we
other
had a very
people.
parallel lives because I went to school at the Art Institute of Chicago.
It's because I'm a Pisces and you're
a Cancer. That's right. And I only had like 1,500 kids at our school. And same thing. We were downtown Chicago, huge metropolitan. I mean, this is a big city like New York. We had no frats. We had no like mascot. We had no game. Like if they had a mascot of our school, it would be a kid smoking with eyeliner. I mean, that was sort of our mascot.
That's the thing. We developed a mascot sort of when I was leaving, the polar bear. Why we need a mascot, I don't know. We don't do like competitive singing. No one's slamming Juilliard singers into ice. Like, why do we need a polar bear? But anyways, Yeah, there's no mascots. It was like small. We didn't even take real classes. Literally for 6 years of college, I didn't take science or math or English. It was literally just singing, learning how to sing, learning how to read music.
So what did you
music
learn? What are some things that you going in that you learned when by the time
as
you
a
left?
young singer, you develop like the basics in breathing, and you do art songs instead of arias because your voice isn't quite there yet. It hasn't matured. And, just being able to read music properly and being able to sing along with accompaniment properly,
Right.
or with maybe not a full orchestra yet when you're starting out, but like,
Did you have a favorite warm up?
I don't know.
Do you want to sing a note for us right now?
I'm all right.
What's the difference for you between...
I also had a very polarizing voice teacher. I don't know how much I can and can't say.
Why?
She was a good teacher, and I enjoyed studying with her, but she's not for everybody. She's very hard, and she was very sort of my way or the highway kind of voice teacher.
So what are some rules of hers that you feel...
It's just more personality wise. Like, she was very hard. A lot of people cried. And a lot of people, but like a lot of people were really traumatized.
I had a great...
But she and I got along great.
Yeah, because you're a villain.
I'm a monster. Hi, everybody. We have a Patreon, so please subscribe at the link in the description.
We have behind-the-scenes content,
a bonus episode each month,
early access to live show tickets,
feedback from all of you on what topics we should discuss on the podcast,
and much more.
Thanks for signing up, and we hope you enjoy.
I had a great art teacher. His name is Dan Gustin, teaching at School of the Art Institute of Chicago. And he really believed that art was sort of, obviously there's technique that's involved, but that it was a mental game. And so he would we had 7-hour painting classes with the model. And we would, as you're painting, he would always say you're working towards the masterpiece, you're not working on the masterpiece. And so he would see kids who are like fiddling away, and he would just come and put black paint all over it. And then based off how they would react, scream, cry, he would say, you need you're working towards the masterpiece. Like it is mental, and people could be offended by it, but really it's like, was this teacher a monster, or was she just giving kids are not used to hearing what they don't want to hear? They're too protected.
No, she was pretty well known as like
just being kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Actually, one time we always had critiques. So the whole class stands around and everyone has to look at your painting, and it's called critiques. So you're getting critiques from people. I like this, I don't like that. I like this, I don't like that. Which is why I still feel I'm very good with critiques from other comics. If a comic comes up to me and says, you should say this instead of that, I never get defensive.
What about when I critique you?
You look out. But one time this girl, so Dan Gustin, my teacher, and if Dan's still teaching, I love you, Dan. One time he's sitting there, this girl from the Advanced Painting Studios, right? So it was all highfalutin and painting. So she comes in, she's got these like 9-foot tall paintings of hot women, sexual positions, and they were gorgeous paintings. And she starts, and I guess she was getting ready for some show, some gallery, and so she was reading this whole long thing. It gets longer and longer, and it's about women, and it's about this, and my journey, and sexuality, and the patriarchy. And she's going on and on and on. So I can see his mind working. Like, let's just see how she reacts, right? She finishes the whole thing, and he goes, and I'll never forget it. He goes, "Yeah, I think you just like painting hot women," and everyone's like, "Oh!" And she had not ever had him, so she was like, "What?" He goes, I just don't buy it. Just say you like painting hot women, and I think we can all move along. Oh my God, she's screaming, she's crying, she's this and that, and da-da-da-da. And I'll just never forget that, because it probably was somewhere in between. The truth was probably somewhere in between.
Of course.
And she couldn't, instead of saying to him, that's an interesting critique, and I want to hear why you say that, and allowed him to actually make the critique, she immediately got on the defense and fought and fought and fought and fought. I'm like, girl, you're 21. You don't know the world yet. And that's the lesson that he was trying to teach her. And I don't even know if he actually meant what he was saying.
Right.
He just wanted to see how she reacted. But I'll never forget that. Everyone went, oh! I mean, he just said it. He was like, yeah, I just think you like painting hot women.
I mean, there's a lot of that in music school as well, because it really is a rude awakening. And you can, I'm sure, have a similar experience. It's a rude awakening going to such a high level concentrated school because you're then faced with people who are so talented, some who are way more talented than you, and you're not used to being around that. And then everyone with different levels of knowledge and sort of understanding and talent, and these teachers sort of breaking you down to teach you. And like, for instance, I had never had a voice lesson before going to a music conservatory.
Then how did you learn how to sing?
I just sang. I did. I mean,
I'm just a prodigy.
I'm gay. I don't know.
Okay.
I just sang from ever since I was little. I sang in
What did you sing when you were little?
I sang
What
in
did little Nick
musicals.
sing?
I sang in choirs and musicals.
But
and
did
all
you
that
walk around the
growing
house
up.
singing?
Yes.
What'd you sing?
I don't literally musicals and choir music and all. It's just I constantly
whole
sang.
new
I
world.
sing along to Josh Groban. Honestly,
You do like Josh Groban. You do like the sort of like lighter, like cleaner, like by the
Pretty.
book voices.
pretty.
Yeah.
So, but by the
I
time
say
I
something
got
about
to
Josh
this
Groban?
music school,
I like Josh Groban. The vibrato's too fast. I said it.
But by the time I got to music school, I never had a voice lesson. And all these kids who had been studying for years and everything, it was an adjustment for me because I didn't know what to do in voice lessons. I didn't know what they were. I could read
You didn't know
music.
what they were.
Well, but like what they were in the sense of like what you were doing in them. I understand like what a lesson is, but like it was just such a foreign concept to me.
But wasn't it fun? Like, because I was the same. I never painted until I went to school.
Yes and no, and that's partly why I stopped doing it. Is it was fun and it became not fun.
So you wouldn't want to go like how Monet did for a couple months. She was a role. What opera did she do? I forget.
Daughter of the Regiment, I think.
Maybe, yeah. And she came in because you, me, and Monet all sing opera. All have
So random.
a
But
bass voice. All of us are basses. So for you, those at home who don't know what a bass is, we're the lowest of the voices.
I maybe would do a one-off opera, but it did. It became sort of, honestly, that's the only part I guess I regret about music school. Maybe you felt the same
You
about
didn't
art
even
school.
do an opera?
No, I did opera. Is what I'm saying is like, it all of a sudden, I loved singing and it was so much of my life and it was so fun and nothing was more enjoyable than being on stage. And then music school sort of dampened
I feel
that.
the opposite. I felt alive in art school because I was learning so much. I was soaking everything up like a sponge. When I had to draw for work, that's what killed it. Like that flame is gone.
Well, yeah. Well, it was a transition into that. Like music school through the years, it just got more competitive and more harsh and more political and more sort of like, it's just not as fun. And then transitioning to the point where like we were graduating and we were going to have to start auditioning for companies and everything. And it also was just like the thought of doing it for a job and like having to do it to be able to pay my bills and not knowing, just became not what I wanted.
Can we see whose voice goes lower? We're both basses.
I mean, I haven't sung it, so probably yours.
But your voice, the range of your lower voice doesn't really change. It's your upper range that changes more, I feel.
I mean, yes and no. If you're not using your voice.
Oh, just do that.
No, this is
we
silly.
have 2 minutes. Oh.
We're going to fill 2 minutes with just
Yes,
singing.
do
Maybe
it.
we do need mascots. This is a singing battle.
All right, they're good. Low.
I don't know if I could go that low. No.
Low.
You're much lower than me.
I know my voice teacher.
I'm more like a bass baritone.
My voice has been this low since I was 15. So you can imagine I'm 120 pounds, one eyebrow, braces, and I'm literally like Old Man River.
I can't go that low, but I was more of like a bass baritone.
Oh, I'm a true bass. And being a bass, you just sit in the choir and you just go blah blah.
Literally.
Blah, blah. I mean, we're literally like Budweiser. We're just the Budweiser frogs.
Yeah.
So, okay, how high can your voice go?
Honestly, not that high either. I had a very limited range. I did. It was pretty, but it's very limited.
Yeah. I can go pretty high.
You can't. You can go very high. You can go very low. I mean, you have a very agile voice.
Meaning what? It's flexible?
Yeah. Like it can do a lot.
Yeah.
Mine is very limited.
That is the only compliment I've ever received from
I didn't
Nick.
say it was a compliment. I
And that,
just
yeah,
said
saying
it
that
was a fact.
you can do a lot with your voice, that's a compliment.
Did I say he could do it well? Did
One
I say
time
it
I did an
sounded
entire-
good? I
one-
just said he could.
One time I did an entire Christmas concert, and afterwards Nick goes, I mean, the first Noel was probably the only good song.
Was that the Christie one?
No. That was a great Christmas concert. That was very
We
funny.
should do a Christmas concert this year.
Would you sing? Would you
Yes.
actually sing?
I'm singing at the live podcast show. If we all did a Christmas show where we actually sang, would you buy tickets? Let us know in the comments. I would do it. I love Christmas music.
What's your favorite Christmas song?
Oh, Holy Night. I used to sing it every year at Christmas.
But what if
Eve.
I wanted to sing that song?
That's not an option. What if I want to sit in that chair?
No.
There we go.
not an
Compromise. It's because you're a Cancer. Thank you for watching and listening to another episode of our podcast. And if you're my former voice teacher, I'm sorry for everything I said. Please like, comment, subscribe, and please leave a review. And until next time.